It's December 14th of 1994 in Trumbull County, Ohio. The phones of the local police department, well, they're ringing right off the hook. And everybody's wondering the same thing. They're all saying that there's something hovering in the sky. They're saying it's huge, it's got lights. And more importantly, it's silent. Everyone's wondering what is flying around in their airspace. Well, tonight, we're going to ask the question, was Trumbull County witnessing visitors from another world? Or perhaps, was there another explanation behind these mysterious lights? Tonight we'll explore the tapes, hear the actual voices of officers and eyewitnesses, and dissect the evidence. And by the end, it's up to you to decide, was this a genuine encounter or something else entirely at play? Prepare yourself, because what happens that night in Ohio is without hesitation, at a minimum, very questionable. This is the night that Ohio saw something extraordinary. Let's retrace the echoes, if you dare. Trumbull County, Ohio. Usually a quiet place. Nothing extraordinary ever happens here. Well, until it does. It's late on the night of December 14th of 1994 at exactly 11:59 p.m. A strange call reaches the Liberty Township Police Department. A local resident. He describes seeing something unusual in the night sky, an object moving downward at a very weird angle, leaving a trail behind it. But what exactly was he seeing?
Dispatch, may I help you?
Yeah, did you get any report any object in the air about 15 minutes ago?
Somebody called in, but I really don't know what that would be.
It did, but I mean, it was very strange.
Okay.
Looked like a back end of like one of them fighter planes, like a plane coming out the back.
Okay. Was it just like moving at a slow rate?
It wasn't a slow rate, it was a fast rate, but it was coming down.
It was coming down?
Yeah.
Like straight down or at an angle?
Like an angle.
At an angle?
Yep.
Okay.
It wasn't real big in the back.
Okay.
Plane.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll check with the Air Base in Vienna and see if they have any report of anything in the area.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
The caller described it as strange, resembling a fighter plane. It was large and it had something very unusual that was trailing behind it as it would descend at a steady angle. Now, clearly, he wasn't sure what he had just witnessed. The dispatcher, she was equally unsure, but she promised to check with a local airbase for answers. But this was just the beginning. You see, soon, the dispatcher, she would realize that the caller, he wasn't alone. Now, minutes after the first mysterious sighting, the Liberty Township Police Department, they started receiving even more unusual calls, this time from multiple residents all near Sampson Drive. Now, witnesses, they reported something strange hovering silently in the night sky. Skeptical but curious, police officers, they asked dispatch for details, but they weren't prepared for what they would hear next.
996. Report by CC. Actually, 2 calls in of a vehicle in the sky. Unknown object above Sampson Drive. Have you noticed anything?
What's the location?
The area of Sampson Drive.
Officer Solid.
Sir, he just advised in the air, in the sky. He didn't advise direction.
998.
998, Ken.
Did he give you a description on the object?
Public service, sir. I'll give you further.
Okay.
The officers was clearly surprised by the dispatcher's report of 4 separate callers describing the same exact unidentified flying object. Now, the officers, initially, they were amused while also being somewhat skeptical, even joking about Spock from Star Trek making a star appearance. But beneath the humor was genuine curiosity, as well as growing concern. After all, 4 different witnesses reporting exactly the same thing. What would compel multiple unrelated people to call in and report the same exact sight? A silent, unidentified object hovering above their homes? Was it simply mass confusion? or something genuinely unexplained. Now, reports that would continue to flood into Liberty Township Dispatch, and there was confusion that was growing literally by the minute, as well as a genuine curiosity. I mean, witnesses across Sampson was describing something very unusual, something that they don't see every single day. I mean, they're talking about something that's silent, something that's huge. It's got stationary lights hovering clearly in the night sky. It's very important that we talk about that part because we're going to go back into this more towards the end of the podcast. Now, with that, officers, they moved into position, trying to get some type of clarity on the situation. I mean, for them, their biggest question was this isolated to just one small area, or were sightings even more widespread?
Hi.
Hi, good.
I'll be there in about just 30 seconds here. Is there one particular block it's going over, or one area of the Sampson Road? It does.
Okay. So we've had 4 different calls, and this particular one came over Sampson.
It is on Sampson itself.
They just said in the sky. That's all we have. In the sky.
What did I say?
On the area, checking for an object in the sky. Copy at 30 after.
As police arrived on Sampson Road, they started scanning the skies very carefully. You see, they knew that their first-hand accounts was going to do one of two things. Either for one, it was going to dismiss all of these reports as just people being confused, or the second thing is that it was going to truly provide proof that there was truly something extraordinary that was taking place right in their very skies. Now, word, it was quick to spread. Multiple people were seeing strange lights hovering silently on Sampson, but not everyone was convinced. Dispatchers was trying their hardest to try to take reports seriously, even as the situation became increasingly unusual. Then came Stacy from Station 33. She'd receive her own frantic call, all on her very own, from a woman who was clearly shaken by what she had seen.
Yeah, dear, this is 33. I hear Liberty Police are in an area that I got a call about a little bit ago. A woman called, claims she saw something in the sky.
Yeah, you called me a little while ago.
Okay, another call.
Yeah, we finally got one on it somewhere.
What the woman told us, on Sampson Drive, like midway in the block, there's a vacant lot or something.
I don't know. Hold on, I'll let you talk to the Liberty Dispatcher.
Okay.
County Dispatch, may I help you?
Hi, dear. This is Stacy from 33.
Hi, Stacy, how are you?
I got one of your...
Did you really?
This woman was almost...
Sorry.
She saw something. She told me that the area was like Sampson Drive. There's a vacant field midway through the block.
They're telling me this too, but it's probably some weather balloon or something. You know what I mean? They're checking the area, but these UFO calls are getting out of hand.
I don't know what it is.
If it was, what the hell did they come to Liberty for? There's no intelligent life in Liberty. Come on now. We're telling everybody they're doing this, what's that new Star Trek movie? Generation show.
Smooth green, no noise.
No noise.
It was low flying and took off.
Oh, come on.
Fifth Avenue.
Are you serious? It's driving up Fifth Avenue Extension. Now, nobody... Oh, Christ.
Not driving. You're flying. It came down and just zooped over it with a big, glowing object.
Well, we got 4 calls on it. The last guy said it was a fighter plane. So you tell me that I would do a big news story on the water in Liberty and the effects on the people, because these people are clearly afflicted. But I appreciate the tip. I'll let them know some more on it. I dispatched it because God only knows my luck. It would land here, abduct some people, and I would be in trouble for not dispatching.
I was impressed because I heard the way you dispatched it, and I said she's trying real hard not to break.
And I'm working with the biggest jokers on the force tonight, so it's real hard not to.
Lucky.
Well, if we do run into a UFO, I swear I will call you personally.
Okay.
Okay? We'll give you an exclusive. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Now, Roy Ann was clearly skeptical and understandably amused. I mean, the dispatchers, they even joked around about even dismissing the call, suggesting everything from hot air balloons. They talked about it being the latest Star Trek movie being filmed. I mean, Roy Ann, she even joked about there being no intelligent life in Liberty Township. I couldn't help but laugh at that one. They were both somewhat humorously dismissing the growing panic. And honestly, a lot of people do that. I would have done the same thing more than likely. But Stacy insisted what her caller saw, it was very clear. It was a low-flying object, glowing blue and green. She said that her caller said it was utterly silent and impossible to mistake as something ordinary. I mean, what exactly could provoke these types of reactions? Were the dispatchers right in laughing off the sightings, or was Stacy's call? Was it someone who was genuinely witnessing something extraordinary, something impossible to explain? Now, as Roy Ann and Stacy was talking on the phone, the officers, they headed towards Fifth Avenue Extension. They didn't know it yet, but the humor of the moment, it would soon fade into genuine uncertainty. See, as sightings multiplied across Liberty Township, another concerned resident contacted the dispatcher. Driving down Sampson, she had just witnessed something that she couldn't easily explain, something distinctly strange, clearly not an airplane. Curious and slightly unsettled, she described it very vividly.
County Dispatch.
Is this Liberty Place?
Pardon me?
Am I calling the Liberty Place?
What do you need, ma'am?
I wonder, did you have anyone call you about a strange plane or airplane or something in the air?
Yeah, they're checking it out.
Yeah, I just saw it on Sampson Road.
Where?
On Sampson Drive.
Okay.
I was coming down Sampson Drive. It was almost, it looked like it was, I don't know what it was, if it was a flying saucer or what it was. It wasn't an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
It was not an airplane. It was down awfully low.
Are you the same lady that called Channel 33?
No.
Okay. All right.
You must have had other calls in on it, huh?
Yeah, not many, a couple.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
What does it look like, ma'am?
It was like almost like an iridescent color. It was like a bluish purple. It was like a long streak. Like it almost was like it had fire coming out of the back of it.
Okay.
Maybe it was, I don't know what it could have been. I know it wasn't an airplane.
Okay, ma'am, I'll let them know.
All right.
All right, bye.
There's a couple things that I want to mention in that last exchange. Take this entire story out of your mind for just a second. Just think about all the times when you drove down a road and it's nighttime and you're looking out your windshield. You're going to see the stars. You're going to see airplanes as they pass by. And I'm sure many of you have seen this countless times before, especially as a child. I remember looking out the window probably way more than I do as an adult now, and looking around the night sky and seeing the moon and stars. Never once have I looked at something and I thought, wow, that's probably a UFO. Some people will probably say, well, it was just an airplane. That's clearly what she saw. Well, she made it very clear this wasn't an airplane. It was something else entirely. It was glowing in shades of bluish purple, almost like an iridescent. And it was trailing fire right behind it. Really, she was only certain about one thing. I mean, whatever she had just seen, it was unusual, it was unexplainable. And the most important part, it was alarmingly close. The most important part of that is what we're going to cover at the end of this podcast, and that's why I keep bringing that part up. All of these people are seeing things that are so close that they know that it can't be a plane. The one guy, he did mention that there was a fire coming out of the back, and it was like a fighter plane. But I think even in a case like that, he's just making an observation of kind of what it looked like. I mean, she clearly wasn't alone. This wasn't even the first call describing something strange that was over Sampson. That really leads me to one question so far. I mean, what exactly is moving so low across the skies in Trumbull County, trailing fire and glowing like no other aircraft that we could possibly know? Were these eyewitnesses truly seeing something extraordinary? Or was there another explanation? As all these calls were coming in, the dispatchers was providing these to the officers via the airwaves. The mysterious sightings? Well, they were no longer confined to just startled residents. Now police officers themselves, they were starting to see something strange. A large, brightly lit object was described hovering just 50 feet off the ground, silently drifting towards Hudson Avenue. Officers quickly responded, moving towards whatever was illuminating their night sky.
998 to radio.
And then good.
Yeah. CC saw me, said it appeared to be hovering about 50 feet off the ground, heading towards Bottom Hudson. So I'm going to be checking that area. It's supposed to be a large object with a lot of lights on it.
Sir, I have another report of Sampson Drive, and also we've been advised by a caller to the media. Media informed us it was a blue-green object hovering, no noise. It was in the area of Fifth Avenue Extension.
98.
And then it got...
I see some lights. It's over 1 block from me. I'm going to try to get over there. I got to go down the street here. It's a large object, whatever it is.
996, are you in the area? 925, do you want to head over to that area?
Traffic.
Repeat your traffic.
Copy, I'm in route. Where do you see that, Toby? I just got a glimpse of it. I can see, I'm on Sampson right now. I can see it heading by Fifth Avenue on the other side. I can see some lights up in that area. Alright. 925 and 998. I set my phaser for stun. Yeah, go ahead and do that. 96 on
96, can you repeat your traffic?
area 5th Avenue Extension.
The area 5th Avenue Extension.
Okay.
996, you advise that you don't see anything?
It was like a red pulsating light.
Your radio was advised to be blue and green.
I saw it was red. It was like a pulsating light. It looked like it was like right to the bottom of the airplane, but it was real big.
Okay, we're trying to contact the airbase this time. Stand by.
And the mystery was over. The officers, they finally saw it very clearly, at least some of them did. It was an object large enough to immediately draw their attention. One officer described it as being just a big object, illuminated by multiple lights. Another reported a distinct red pulsating glow, larger than any ordinary aircraft. Confusion? It quickly set in, as dispatchers, they were already being informed of whatever this object is. It was supposed to be a blue-green, and it was supposed to be completely silent. The inconsistencies, they only deepened the mystery. Not even authorities was unsure exactly what they were dealing with inside their airspace, and they came up with a very genius idea. Dispatch would just very urgently reach out to the local airbase for answers, as the officers remained carefully focused on the very strange object slowly crossing above their own town.
Yes, sir. This is Rand from Liberty Township Police Department. Yes, in Ohio.
Yeah.
We have a report of some flying object in our jurisdiction, in our area, above the Sampson Drive, Fifth Avenue Extension area. I could not give you any kind of traffic, direction that would help you know that area. Do you know of anything that should be in our airspace this time, close to the ground?
Right.
This is not a prank phone call, I swear. You can call me back to verify.
Look at the radar scope, and I go 60-mile diameter of Youngstown, and there is nothing out there. Not even anything up high.
We've got
Where?
five accounts, 5 calls in on this.
Yeah.
Something's flying in our area and it's low to the ground. Would you be able to monitor like a Cessna or something with a light on it?
Well, if it was, do you mean visibly?
No, with the radar.
With the radar, it depends on how high it is and where they are. If it's low radar coverage, so that
okay, now I get a text to go here and tell them something, and I don't want to say you couldn't find anything. Is there any, clause I might use in it? Might be like a personal aircraft or something that might be used at night or something?
Could be, it could be anything. As far as, any kind of helicopter traffic or anything down low, they don't have any kind of requirements to,
it made no noise.
They're coming into the airport here.
Okay, so you have no communications with helicopters. It could be something like that?
Yeah, it could be a helicopter.
Okay.
The helicopter's particularly flying low.
All right, I'm buying this 100%. But
are you, is that location anywhere near a hospital?
We are close to a hospital, but the location is away from, as low as they said it was to the ground, it would be approximately 5 miles away from the hospital. We're closer to, that end of town is closer, out towards the Vienna line, Vienna Air Base area, and that's what I thought maybe it was related to.
Yeah, we haven't had anything going on, nothing coming from that direction.
Okay.
Half an hour ago.
Then I'm going to okay.
Guys just go out here northbound, climbed up high, and nothing's going on around here.
Okay, I am going to advise you of this. You could take it and file it in your garbage can if you want to. We've got accounts of this. Hold on 1 second for me. Okay, I've got 4 to 6 calls. Hold on 1 second. Okay, at this time, I've had 4 to 6 calls come in about a lit object, blue-green light, hovering above the area of Sampson Drive and 5th Avenue. The object was low to the ground, did not make any noise, hovered there for some time, then continued moving down the 5th Avenue extension road. My unit was out. Caught something he thought was red. Somebody described it as the end of a fighter pilot plane. I don't know what the kind of lines of continuum they're drawing here. I don't see any. But this is what I was advised of, so I wanted to call.
Okay, well, we don't, I have if I was downstairs in the radar room, I would have a finder with some phone numbers. I have some 800 numbers as far as, identified flying object reports and things like that. If you wish, you can, during business hours tomorrow.
Like I said, I don't know.
I don't see anything out there, nothing on the radar scope. I haven't seen anything, and, we don't really do anything with the information.
Okay, I thought I'd pass along in case somebody was maybe flying without permission and, night flying or something like that. I didn't know what was going on, but as long as I've done my job long, and I don't want to sound like a crackpot, but that's what we've got in so far. Okay, thank you. Bye.
The tower operator, he checked his radar very carefully, but nothing appeared. Not high, not low, nothing at all. He suggested that it could possibly be like a helicopter, like a private aircraft that was flying just below the radar coverage, but he admitted there was no known flights, no records, nothing official. He even suggested that perhaps Liberty Dispatch could call an official unidentified flying object hotline, an object that Roy Ann found both humorous and somewhat frustrating. Despite multiple credible reports, Liberty Dispatch, they were left empty-handed. No explanation, no confirmation, just an empty radar screen and silence from official channels. Add to that, sprinkle in just a little bit of confusion. I mean, how could multiple residents and trained officers, more importantly, clearly witness something large and glowing hovering silently above their town, while radar and official records, well, they saw absolutely nothing? With every single explanation quickly running dry, dispatchers and officers, they kind of started to begin thinking that whatever was hovering silently in the sky, it might truly be something beyond explanation. As officers continued their search, their confusion was growing even more. One officer, unsure exactly what he had seen, admitted that it could have just been a light in the sky or perhaps something else entirely. Meanwhile, the residents of Liberty Township, they became increasingly curious. One woman, having heard the dispatch communications over her scanner, called in seeking reassurance and answers.
County Dispatch. Hi. It's Sodom Hutchins Road and Sampson Drive out in Liberty. Yes, ma'am. I wonder if I heard on the scanner where they were looking for that big blue. Right now. Yeah, did they find anything yet? Not yet. The dispatcher for Liberty Township right now, she's speaking with the air base to see if they have possibly something in the area at this time. Oh, I see. Yeah, I heard on scanner. I thought it was one of the flying saucers since it wasn't very far from the ground. Well, that's why she contacted them in case it was the weather balloon or something. In on that. I beg your pardon? Did they call the news on that? I have no idea. Yeah, I thought I heard in the scanner that they did, but they think it might be from the air base. Right. Like I said, the Liberty Dispatch is on the phone right now speaking with the air base. And they think that's where it's from. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
How frustrating would that have to be for dispatchers? They're already dealing with this impossible situation and people calling in and trying to have this conversation with police officers that's out in the field. And this caller, who's clearly intrigued, confirming hearing about the mysterious blue object on her scanner. She asked dispatch if the object had been identified yet, wondering if even the local news had been notified. Dispatch admitted the airbase was being contacted for answers, probably more than what I would have gave her. Though even then, there was nothing that was definitive. Meanwhile, you got officers remaining uncertain, openly admitting that they have no clue what they had seen. Just a strange light, or possibly something more. And as dispatch waited for answers from the airbase, residents and officers alike, they were left watching, wondering and waiting for any sign that could finally explain what was hovering quietly above their homes. Now, what began as just scattered reports of strange lights, it quickly escalated into just complete pandemonium, especially for Officer Toby. See, he had heard the eyewitness accounts, some describing the object as blue or green, others saying that they had saw red. Skeptical at first, Toby now found himself face to face with the mystery itself.
Getting back to the UFO, I saw it.
Did you really?
But if it was red, I don't know. People saying it's blue. Right? I pull up to this.
County just saw it too.
Down, he goes, hey, this thing's hovering right over Sodom Hutchins. It just came over my house, right? I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah, right? Then you tell me you got a report of it on Fifth Avenue Extension, right? Yeah. I'm right by Patty Metzinger's house, and I looked towards Fifth Avenue Extension. You could see a red glow up in the sky. It was huge. It was like huge.
See, but they're telling me blue-green because the media called. This woman was crying hysterically. She's like, oh my God! And she's screaming, and they're like, oh God! And they call me, and I'm laughing it off because I can't, I'm not going to cause a panic. We don't.
You're on dope or something. I see this, right?
No, because Toby, I swear to God, we got 7 to 8 calls on this UFO.
They're scanning us.
No, I'm telling you what, they were coming in at the same time. They were coming at the same time.
Well, anyway, I see this.
And the county saw it. Somebody from the county saw it.
Really?
I think Pete Lusick saw it because he came across his channel and he goes, she's that big thing in the sky with the lights. And first we thought they were making fun of us, but they went to another channel to do it because they didn't want to be on their main.
Well, with me, I saw this big red glow in the sky.
Well, that's what the guy said. He said it looked like fighter pilot lights in the back of the tail of a bomber.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And I said, well, maybe it's a weather balloon. Well, I called up, and Toby, I swear to you, I was laughing it off, and I thought, well, he's going to say weather balloon or something, but he says, no, I don't. He goes, we have nothing. He goes, we have, and he's trying to give
give me numbers to report it, and I'm saying no. I don't want any numbers. He's going, well, he goes, I don't have anything in a 16-mile radius of Youngstown. He goes, I'm looking at the radar right now.
Well, this thing wasn't more than about 50 feet off the ground.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, this is low to the ground. I said, you might not pick it up. I said, he goes, well, maybe it's a helicopter. I said, well, I heard from 4 people. Something that low to the ground would be making a hell of a noise.
This thing wasn't making no noise.
I know.
Because I rolled down, when I saw the glow, I rolled down my window. I didn't hear a sound. The only sound I heard was my car.
Well, was it moving, or was it just...
Yeah, it was glowing. It was moving. You could see it like up in the air, glowing and getting further away from me. That's why I had to go all the way down to Overbrook and cut over to get on 6th Avenue. As soon as I turned on 6th Avenue, I didn't see it.
Did Bob see it?
No.
Did Steve see it?
No. I'm the only one that saw it.
There was about 10 other people in Liberty who were just swearing up and down they saw a UFO.
Media probably have something.
Oh, they'll have a ball with it, because, they had called already.
Well, what did they say? Did you guys locate anything?
Yeah, well, they're like, people are serious. They're very upset. And I'm like, well, it's got to be a weather balloon or something. And I knew it wasn't a weather balloon because they,
well,
FAA would know about it.
Prosecutors said it was green and blue lights?
Well, no. The media said it was green and blue lights. I had a man who said it was...
Officer Toby was clear about what he had seen, something large, glowing vivid red, completely silent, and hovering about 50 feet above the ground. Skeptical at first, Roy Ann, she even tried to laugh it off. But dispatchers was quickly realizing their explanations they were falling short. Air traffic control tower, they saw nothing on the radar. It wasn't a weather balloon, it wasn't a helicopter, and it certainly wasn't a conventional airplane. Dispatchers, they were caught between disbelief and genuine curiosity. In fact, they struggled to make sense of it at all. Now, meanwhile, other officers, they was gathering in a different location, observing the very same phenomena. Listen carefully as they describe in real time the mysterious objects' movements, as well as the colors.
Okay, I'm on 14. You got copies? Yeah, it looks like I'm getting pretty close here, but I can't really judge how far out it is, Oh, I've been stationary since I called you. However long it took you to come from over on the west side, that bugger has not moved. Yeah, well, I'm going over 11 right now, and looks like I'm starting to maybe get next to it here. It's still out a good ways. See it? Is that just no? See it down over here just above the trees. Okay, has it moved any? It looked like it might have flickered a little in that because it's moving slightly. Hey, this is binoculars. I would think the airbase could get a pretty good eye on it. Okay, Mikey's up here with me now. He's looking through the binocs. It looks like it might have moved just slightly because it moved from one side of a tree to another. But it's still visible right here where we're at.
Over about 11.
Well, I'm in here at
About 11.
that's about the ridge already. Ridge at the airbase. You say you're at Ridge at the airbase? Okay, it should be south of you, right? Look like it's doing circles? Yeah. It's moving.
What area is it in?
Huh?
What area?
Hang on one sec. Davey, what area do you think it's in now? Hang on. Okay, where you're at and where I'm at, I'm about half a mile south of Kingsgrave on Henhide.
Half a mile south of Kingsgrave.
It's still a little bit south of me, so where are you at as far as on Ridge Road?
Do you guys have to take P tested on it, Helen? Because we went outside, we didn't see anything.
I don't know how I got put down. Later, I'm not even coming up on the main gate.
They all see it. We were all on Henhide. We didn't see it.
Okay, well, we're on Henhide north of Kane. Okay, there's a brand new house under construction, and we're watching it right through the empty field.
You're seeing it through the field?
Yeah, we're seeing all our cars.
How big is it? What color is it? Because I got three.
What kind is this? Some like a whitish
Whitish red to pulsating greenish lavender.
Do you see any red? It was a whole red light. He said it looked like...
Well, from the distance, I mean, I can't tell. My binoculars are a cheap set of binoculars. I thought I saw some red. Let me check with Dave from his angle. Do you see red and green on it? Hey, Dave, from your angle,
I'll call the airport.
pulsating red and green?
I'm telling you, we went outside, we didn't see anything.
Yeah, let's...
I'm calling the air base again.
Okay.
Hold on, just stay on the line.
I'd gladly come down, pick you up in the car and bring you.
I want it. Come get me.
All right.
Come get me.
All right.
I'll be outside.
Okay.
All right. I need a break.
Multiple officers, they carefully observed the strange lights. They said it was pulsating vividly, shifting colors between white and red and green and even lavender. They talked about its very strange movements, hovering very stationary, then moving slowly, drifting across the horizon. And even in one case, a guy talked about it looked like it was making like a circle. Yet other officers, and even dispatch, they saw nothing. In fact, the dispatch was so puzzled they finally accepted an invitation to witness the phenomena firsthand. I mean, what exactly were these trained officers now observing? I mean, they clearly saw the pulsating colors, the silent movements. Some even said they saw it hovering close to the ground, yet invisible to radar, and completely unheard by those who were listening very carefully. The line between skepticism and belief, well, now was dangerously thin. Liberty Township was facing something utterly unexplainable, and authorities were quickly running out of answers. What began as mysterious sightings confirmed in Liberty Township quickly became even more widespread. I mean, now there was reports that was coming in from Howland Township. More eyewitnesses describing exactly the same strange phenomena. Liberty's dispatchers, they were baffled by the growing number of credible reports. So once again, they reached out to air traffic control, desperately hoping that now there was some type of an answer.
Yes, sir. This is Rain again from the center here and then the 911 center. I called you about Liberty Township. The darn thing is in Howland Township now, and it's hovering over a site. You show anything at all on your radar screen in the Warren area?
In Howland Township.
Howland Township.
It's hovering where?
Hovering over a hen hide in Howland Township, about 5 minutes here from the center.
Well,
They're seeing this. They're watching this thing. It goes 50 feet from the ground. There's blue and green lights. Some people say they see a red holding light. Hovers about 50 feet from the ground with no noise. We've had this all night.
Here, looking to the west. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'm 70 feet in the air.
I'm going out to look for this right now. My unit's coming out there. Tell me when he's out here.
Okay, now let me get a pair of binoculars. Let me call
Can you check that? Let me give you a number to contact, 675-2549.
Okay.
All right?
Alrighty.
All right. I'm going to look at it now myself.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Now, at this point, Roy Ann's completely frustrated and somewhat concerned. She reported that the object is now being reported just 50 feet off of the ground. In fact, it's now even in Howland Township, and they're talking about the blue and the green lights clearly visible, some even describing the red light that's pulsating. Yet once again, air traffic control, they saw absolutely nothing on the radar, even after checking 50 miles west. Roy Ann would get off the phone with the tower. No additional answers that she could possibly give, with the exception that they said they was going to get their binoculars out and take a look too. I mean, between officers, skepticism and humor, they were clearly taking center stage. Some officers joking openly about the mysterious sightings, laughing them off as just a misunderstanding or possibly even shooting stars. But the reality was undeniable. I mean, there was multiple independent witnesses that had genuinely seen something. They had seen something strange.
Talking about the thing that
looked like a UFO or whatever? Who was it?
That was a joke. That was a joke.
No, we've had...
we know. That's what it was.
We got 8 calls earlier.
Yeah, Liberty was telling us about it. And
we got calls last night on it, too.
Pete told, I said something to Pete. I said, it's probably altered. How's the UFO going to be detected on radar when it's a self?
I could only hear bits and pieces.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
But yeah, we got like 8 calls on it earlier.
But I told Pete, I said, think about it. For 40 years, you heard about UFOs, and they never had one on radar. So they got to be self.
Yep, exactly.
I said, they'll never get them on radar.
Yeah, who knows? Actually, Royanne called out to the airport to see if they were picking anything up.
Yeah.
Around the area, and they said they hadn't seen anything. But we got, if you get one call or something like that, you don't pick anything up. We got like 8 different calls from different people on it. So
that's hard to say. The winter months, you see a lot more shooting stars because the sky's clear or something.
Right. Yeah. Right. And with the cold, they drag on.
Right. And when I left the station tonight, there was one good one to come down. I mean, it was way down, still way bright.
Huh.
And that's what Pete was. He was just joking about that because I told him, I saw that shooting star.
Yeah. You're like, beam me up, Captain Kirk.
Yeah. So that's probably what they're saying.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll make a note of that for whoever else comes out tomorrow, whatever. Maybe hopefully she won't start up again, but just in case.
Well, you might just want to keep a note of that registration in case the guy is like an afternoon turn or somebody.
Right.
I mean, the question I would have is, what would you do? You're clearly hearing these things. You're even looking around. You're trying to make sense of everything. It's not every day that you're going to get all these reports about UFOs and the possibility that maybe it's not just you out. And there's so many people that's scared. So the officers, clearly they joked. They pointed out that for decades, people's been reporting UFOs, yet radar very rarely captures any kind of a trace. In their minds, it's nothing more than just shooting stars or possibly even like a meteorite. But is that what everyone had been seeing up to this point? I mean, beneath the laughter and the casual dismissals, there was a subtle acknowledgement that they've received at this point 8 separate calls. If it was something as simple as just a shooting star or meteorites, would there be that many calls? Why had they not received that many calls in the past? I think a lot of people give these officers a hard time because they say that they were dismissing the sightings as just simple confusion, shooting stars. But for me, I think it would be very difficult to assume that there is something up in the skies, especially in 1994. It's a different day and a different age than what we are today. As the jokes and the speculations faded into the night, the officers was left wondering, could there possibly be something truly extraordinary hovering silently above their community, or was there a much simpler explanation? Natural. Something that was completely ordinary. As the night wore on, word of the strange sightings, they spread pretty quickly. Soon even the county jail staff, they were listening very closely to their scanners. They found themselves caught up in the bizarre events. They called dispatch. They asked very openly what they had just overheard. A UFO? Surely. This had to be a joke.
County dispatch.
Yeah, is that a UFO they're looking for?
Huh?
Is that a UFO they're looking for?
Who's this?
This is Bill down at the jail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, seriously. We got like 8 calls on it earlier.
You gotta be.
No, it's not. Hey, Leslie, would you believe Leslie if she said yes?
No.
Isn't that a UFO that we got like 8 calls on earlier today and they're looking at it again? Leslie said yes. It is. No, we got calls earlier tonight on it, and a couple different people. The officers said they saw it, and one of the Howland officers just said he saw it at Kings Graves and Hen Hide, hovering there for like 10 minutes. So who knows? It's pretty messed up. We got reports on some last night. We got reports on them tonight. So, all quiet over there tonight?
Yeah.
you need to be over here where the interesting things happen.
Really? I'm going to go outside and take a look around.
Yeah, we went out from here, couldn't see, but it's hard because there's a lot of lights, you know. I guess one of the Hound officers said it was like in the area of Henhide and Kings Graves, though, hovering there for like 10 minutes, a big blue. What was it supposed to be, Rick? Blue and green? Let me see what color it was. Hold on. Rick, what was it supposed to be, blue and green? It's supposed to be blue and green, I guess.
Yeah, UFO number on the roll. What's he doing?
We called out to the air base earlier, and they said that they hadn't had anything on their radar. But if it's in the area of Henhide and Kings Graves, it would have to be showing up on their radar. You know, if there was something there.
Don't they have any fighter jets out there anymore?
Oh, did you tell what they just said? Somebody just said something. I don't know what they said there.
All right, I'll let you go.
All righty. If I find out anything else, I'll call and let you know. All right. Bye.
Now, initially amused, the dispatcher quickly confirmed, oh no, these reports are 100% real. There was multiple eyewitnesses, including police officers from different jurisdictions. It wasn't just one, clearly describing a brightly illuminated object silently hovering in the sky above, and many occasions observing it for more than 10 minutes. Even the dispatcher, earlier somewhat skeptical, they had contacted out to the air traffic control tower, only to learn that the object was invisible to radar, which deepened the mystery. Jail staff, clearly intrigued and amused, decided that they were going to step outside themselves and take a little look. I mean, dispatchers, they'd already tried, seeing nothing amidst the city lights, but admitted that there was indeed something strange going on. As the sightings was multiplying, the situation was quickly becoming chaotic. I mean, the officers from different jurisdictions, they communicated very rapidly, spotting strange lights very clearly, chasing an elusive object they couldn't identify or even explain. Confusion filled their conversations, each trying to pinpoint its exact locations, its movements, its strange characteristics. Officers very clearly described vivid, rapid shifting lights, distinctively red, blue, and green. One officer saw the object clearly from Liberty, off Belmont, rapidly accelerating away, moving so fast he had to admit there was no way that he'd ever be able to keep pace. Another officer observed the air base from the air base with binoculars, described something strange, an object with what appeared to be something that was like protruding from the top. It was pulsating and flickering very unusually. As confusion spread, so did the multiple patrol cars to try to pinpoint its direction. I mean, some would clearly see it over here, others would clearly see it over there, others would chase it into right outside to the north end of Liberty. Each communication, it became increasingly urgent, clearly describing something that was bright, fast, silent, and completely beyond their understanding. Now, as officers would race towards this unidentified object, their own voices revealed genuine confusion and growing urgency. I mean, whatever this was, if anything, they knew for sure that it was one thing. It was real, it was visible, and it was rapidly outpacing their attempts to identify whatever it was.
2223, go ahead.
Okay, I got a visual on both of them. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
10-4, we have multiple departments right now that have sightings on it.
Okay, I got them both. I'm in the area of the county home. I got Howlands, looks like it's in the area of Warren Road, and I got Liberties, it looks like it's down near Hubbard.
10-4, if you see it any close and can identify it, let us know.
Affirmative. Go ahead. I'm past 74 Lumber, still eastbound. It's still just southeast of my location. Okay, it doesn't seem like it moved at all from where I'm at here.
You out there by yourself, or you got someone out there that's documenting the observation also? Yeah, I'm at the air base. I had the security guard out here. He doesn't know what to make of it either. Do you want him to get a visual on it? Oh, yeah, we can see it from right here. 433 control. 433. Yeah, it's the Liberty dispatcher, the outcome of the FAA inquiry. Last check at radar at the airport. They're advising they have nothing on their screens. They're probably not going to tell us if there's anything anyway, if it's anything to do with the military. No doubt. Another Hangar 7 happened here in Trumbull County.
It's in Brookfield now. It's in Brookfield now.
998 radio.
998.
Okay, we could see it from 62. It's a large light. I don't know if it's changing color. I could see red in it. It just seems to be hovering right now.
That's one.
Good. It's horrible up at the home. I'm going to go up that tower. 10-4. 433. Did you hear anything from any of the Liberty units or maybe Youngstown? Every agency in the county's got a visual on it that I can hear. Right now, control's copying that it's somewhere in Brookfield Township, east of 84 Lumber on Warren Sharon Road. Got a unit at the Old County home on Route 7 in Brookfield. Has a visual on it this time. Looks like it's going southeast. I just pulled off along with the Brookfield Center now to do a binocular observation. There's definitely a structure there, unfortunately, what you saw. I can see an upper structure off the main part of the lighting. Yeah, right. It almost looks like a little parachute hanging from it. Right, yeah, something with a different colored lighting to it. Yeah, right. You heard from Wally, or did he get beaten up? I don't know, I haven't heard. 432, what's your location? 433, check up. Control 433, check up. Don't worry, they probably won't keep you long. Control 433. Control to Howland 433. Control to Howland 433. For status. We're down there. I don't think we can get out. We're on our way back. Okay, 503. Told you it wouldn't keep it. 3368. Yeah. I believe I heard a comment about making a loop run for the nighttime wings. Like I said, even the UFOs won't go in the court one. You had any visual on it at all from your vantage point? I went down to 82 to cross over north of 82 on 11, and the only thing I see is a white star out there. Dan and I were talking about it. It looks like either Jupiter or Ceres, the star. One of the two. Nothing moving, nothing pulsating. Okay. I try getting a little more rest during the day. Right. And after a decade is up, I think they're probably going to retro me over to another shift. I was going to say, there goes a claim for shift rotation for administration. For sure. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing, Walt, I didn't see anything except the white light. It's kind of southeast of the airport. Okay. Keep driving, Walt. You'll find something. Gotcha. Steve Baker. Yeah. All right, I talked to these guys. Everything's all right. They're going to go back to where they came from. Who? Oh. I can see them. Did you see anything? I got them right here. I'm looking at them. What the hell is it? Hold on a second. I got to turn my lights on before I get rear-ended. Well, I can see them from Warner Road. They're sitting stationary. I got 3 of them. Uh-huh. One is over, well, there, and then there's 2 kind of close together. What do they look like? Well, I'd like to say that they're just like flickering stars, except I've got 4 discernible colors. I got red, yellow, green, and blue, and the one just was like flashing. So if they're those planets those guys were talking about, then they're planets with Christmas lights on. You can see them? I can see them. Not like clear as day. I don't see any wings or anything to keep them. But you see lights? Yeah. Unreal. Hold on a second. Unreal. What are you doing? That's what I mean. I mean, I can, without my binoculars, I can see red, yellow, green, and blue. I mean, you're way over there. They got to be way over in Cortland. No. Did you hear Cortland on the air? Yeah. Even UFOs will come into Cortland. I can't believe it. He's killing me. So you're having you're having an experience? No, because I can't see. I mean, they're so far away. They look like stars. They're just like. Well, the first calls we got from Liberty were they were like 50 feet above the ground. Yeah, well, they could be on their way home. All right. I think everyone else in this county should go home. Yeah, I'm about ready to. This is weird. I had a beat on them from the tower. They were close. They got to be going away because they were closer than this. Now I'm looking at them. Oh my God! What? And they're not a plane because here goes a plane, and I can see the plane, and the plane is blinking red, and the fact that there's another plane. I think they're scrambling planes out of SATCOM 1 to go check them out. Wait a minute. What? Oh my God! I hope that's a plane. Oh Jesus Christ! Please be a plane. Oh please. What? What are you doing? I ain't ready for this. Hold on. Little where'd you go? That's a plane. Oh, thank God. Well, I get nervous when they're coming right at me. There's 3 planes up there. I'll tell you what, they're flying from the Air Force Base. Really? Something's got to be. Oh, really? Yeah, hold on. I'm about to get you rolled again. Where are you? Right here. Wait, where are you? Warner Road, south of Merwin Chase. 4 up there now. There's 4 planes. Oh, okay. What the? No, I mean the other things are still there, but these are like, you don't see them. Frick. All right, what are we doing with this now, Pete? I have no idea. Well, you know what? I can tell it's not in our airspace, so it ain't our call. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I think the interesting thing about this story is not only now, and of course this isn't verified, but what was these police officers and now what I believe was military jets? What were they chasing through the skies of Trumbull County? For me, I have a hard time believing that there wasn't military airplanes out there. And they was scrambled more than likely from the airbase. As officers watched the lights slowly fading into the distance, they were still somewhat unexplainable. They were still somewhat unidentified. And the officers, they were left grappling with the impossible. I mean, whatever happened that night, one thing was clear. Trumbull County had witnessed something extraordinary, something utterly beyond explanation. One thing about this story that holds a lot of credibility for me was that the skepticism that was happening inside the dispatch room, it was growing so much louder. I mean, the officers was now being told that the strange lights that they were clearly observing was nothing more than planets, perhaps even Venus. But for those officers out in the field, experiencing whatever this was firsthand, that explanation, it clearly wasn't good enough. Listen to this little exchange and tell me that there's not some validity in what they're saying.
Hi, dispatch.
Hey, Peg.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I bet it is. Hey, that thing with the Air Force Base and the radar? You remember ours last year?
No.
That we called the Air Force Base and they said, no, there's nothing going on. But then, I don't know who did it. They called the National Weather thing, and the weather had it on their radar.
Don't ask me.
Well, you know, what I was just thinking, have you, who's ever, running the show out there? Who's, into this, to this?
No.
Maybe nobody is?
Who's ever running the show out here is, laughing at all you guys out there.
But that's because they're in a closed building and we're out here looking at this.
Okay.
But no, what I'm wondering is maybe somebody might want to give the National Weather people a call. Because they're not going to classify. They'll call and say, yo, this is a UFO phone. Like they did to us last year. Pete, if you saw this, yeah, you'd be doing it too.
Really?
I'm serious.
Well, Jack said it's Venus.
Okay, well then there's 6 of them.
No.
Yeah, she's right about that meteor shower thing. Because when I was standing there, when I got off the phone with you, in 5 minutes, in this little space that I'm watching, there were 6 of them, whatever you call them, shooting star things. There's 6 of them, so they're there. But I don't know what it is, but
I just wish it was cloudy.
then we wouldn't see this.
Now, that officer was clearly frustrated with the dispatcher's dismissive attitude, recalling a very similar thing that happened just the year before. In that case, they had called the air base and they insisted there was nothing on the radar. Don't even worry about it. Yet the National Weather Service, they reported something completely different. Clearly skeptical of official explanations, he suggested maybe we should contact the weather authorities again, hoping that maybe they could finally give some type of an answer about what's going on. But dispatch, they was laughing it off, openly joking about the police officers chasing planets from the comfort of their desks. But the officer's frustration was clear. He insisted sarcastically there couldn't possibly be 6 versions of Venus visible all at once. He even acknowledged that the presence of those meteor showers that they think could possibly be what they're seeing, well, it didn't match what everyone was talking about also. It makes me wonder, were the dispatchers right to laugh, dismissing the officers' experiences as merely planetary sightings or meteors? Or were the officers in the field just truly witnessing something genuinely unexplainable, something clearly beyond our standard understanding? Was frustration and skepticism clashed? One officer finally expressed his ultimate wish that clouds would simply obscure the sky, so they wouldn't have to grapple any longer with whatever this could possibly be up in the sky. After hours of frantic calls, urgent chases by police officers, and growing confusion, an officer armed with a telescope, he finally tried to bring some clarity to the situation, or at least so it seemed. He explained that for the past 35 minutes, he had been carefully tracking the mysterious object. Clearly visible through his telescope, he concluded that it was, in fact, a planet moving steadily with the Earth's rotation.
Hey, this last mail here.
Yeah,
Hi, how you doing?
how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I got to look through this thing at a telescope.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we were looking at is a planet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but ironically, while everybody else was watching it, a couple of the Niles guys had a night vision scope. Some lady who says she lives in Liberty came up to them, they're down here on the strip,
Okay.
and asked them, are you guys tracking the UFO? And they looked at her and thought she was joking. She says, dead ass serious, she says the thing was in her backyard.
I'm telling you, I told you that woman said she was in her backyard.
Yeah.
She said, it was in my backyard, it was in the field, and she was having a fit about it. Would you please go from here, please?
So anyhow, she's telling them, and they said, well, is that what you saw? She turns around and looks at it, she goes, no. She goes, that's a planet. She goes, that's not what we saw.
This thing was red, and And Toby said it was right near the ground. He said it lit up the sky. Okay. And I'm like, well, it was pretty far away from all of us. We really can't make a good determination, but there's that chance,
Well, for about the last 35 minutes, we've been tracking this with a telescope, and it's moving in a set arc, which would be with the rotation.
Okay.
It's a planet. Which one, God only knows. But it's a planet, it's not a star.
Well, we were all excited.
Oh, I know I was too. I think it's definitely something else. Whatever, I don't dispute what the lady's saying, but just thought it was funny that somebody came all the way down into the aisles, either on their way to work or whatever.
Yeah, so what the hell are you looking at now? That's not what I saw. No, Toby said, there's no way that, he said that did not look like what he saw.
Okay.
I do not know, if it was the distance or what the situation was. But if that's a planet, that's a planet. It's pretty damn low, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, it was low when we first saw it, and like I said, we've been sitting down here on the strip. Just, everybody's sitting still, not moving. And every so often we had to adjust the telescope. So it's moving, but it's arcing in a set pattern. So it looks like it's stationary, other than it's a little higher than, like where I'm at right now, I can see it where before I know I would have been, because I'm down here at the corners, that's even lower than the center, and I can see it now. So, oh well.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thanks for calling.
Is there any more calls on it?
No, nothing else.
Well, we'll probably all have a lot of answers today.
I'll tell you what. It's enough for me. Thanks for calling.
All right, you take care.
Bye-bye.
What they just saw as possibly a planet through the telescope was now in a completely different situation, because the woman approached them urgently, insisting that the strange lights that they had been tracking couldn't possibly be a planet. In fact, she kind of laughed it off when they said, "Is that what you saw?" And she goes, "Well, no, that's just a planet." She was dead serious. She described vividly how an object appeared clearly in her backyard, illuminating the sky in a brilliant red, hovering impossibly close to the ground. It's very hard to rationally tell someone, "I think that's what you saw right there," just to find out that it's not what they saw. It's not even close to what she thinks she saw. Now, as officers packed up their equipment, one thing was clear. The people of Trumbull County, they had seen something. Now, some remained certain that they had glimpsed something truly extraordinary, something far beyond our explanation. But others, the comforting explanation of a planet, that seemed enough. Now, one thing you got to understand is, in the end, each witness, including trained officers and skeptical dispatchers, they would always wonder about that night, the extraordinary evening when something hovered silently above their community, something that, even through a telescope, still left lingering doubts. Tonight, we've heard the voices, experienced the confusion, and felt the uncertainty firsthand, but what really happened that December night in 1994? I mean, could these mysterious lights over Trumbull County, Ohio just be simple, rational explanations? Well, let's consider 3 of the most compelling skeptical perspectives and weigh each of them against counter-arguments who come from those who, well, they still believe. The first one that a lot of people brings up is just a very simple explanation. What everyone thought was a UFO was just the planet Venus. It was brightly illuminated, vivid, stationary to the casual observer, and commonly mistaken as a UFO by many. Venus was clearly visible in the winter skies that night. Now, for the believers, they would counter and say, well, Venus, it can't hover just 50 feet off the ground. It can't glow a red, a blue, and a green, silently illuminating backyards across Trumbull County, could it? I mean, we've got multiple credible witnesses, including trained police officers, clearly describing seeing the lights extremely close, much closer and brighter than Venus could ever appear. I mean, planets simply do not behave that way. The next thing that commonly comes up is that of a weather balloon. They're silent, They generally will drift across the ground. It could be 50 feet off the ground. It's very unlikely, but they reflect the lights that come from the ground because it is a reflective material. And if someone saw it, especially at nighttime, might be easy to think that maybe there is an object up there. I mean, weather balloons, they're often accounted for when there is UFO reports due to their unusual shape and the reflective surfaces. But I think a believer would once again say, but a weather balloon, I mean, the witnesses clearly described a very deliberate movement, and the acceleration was so quick and it was changing directions abruptly and easily outpacing police cars. I mean, balloons, they move somewhat slowly, predictably. They're carried by the wind, not quickly darting across neighborhoods, hovering low to the ground, as I said earlier, pulsating vividly in multiple distinct lights and colors. So could it really be a weather balloon? The next thing that comes up quite often is the Gemini meteor showers, active every single December, and could possibly explain multiple sightings. Now, these are bright meteorites that streak across the sky, which is especially visible during Decembers, especially when it's a very cold and brisk winter night with very limited or no clouds. They're easily mistaken for very unusual aircrafts or mysterious lights, but I believe again that the believer might say, well, meteorites, they appear briefly. They streak brightly for just a couple of seconds. Now, witnesses clearly describe being able to see these objects hovering silently, some observing them for over 10 minutes. There's no meteor that can hover motionless or exhibit controlled movements, pulsating colors and lights, or maintaining stationary limits just above treetops or prolonged periods of where it's just sitting out in a field. Clearly, meteorites, they don't match eyewitness accounts. So it couldn't possibly be meteorites. Or could it? So planetary confusion, a drifting weather balloon, or a spectacular meteor shower. Each explanation logical, rational, understandable. Yet eyewitness accounts, they clearly contradict these simple explanations. I mean, what these residents and police officers saw remained clearly outside conventional explanation. Were rational explanations enough to dismiss these extraordinary claims? Or did Trumbull County truly experience something clearly unexplainable, something genuinely extraordinary? Well, the next thing I want to talk about is things that go beyond rational explanation, beyond skeptical logic. With that, it finds theories on the very fringe of possibilities. Experts on the paranormal, the unexplainable, and even government conspiracies propose theories that stretch every single facet of our imaginations. Yet somehow, they still resonate. Could the events of December 14th, 1994 in Trumbull County have explanations far stranger than we've imagined? The first and perhaps the most popular theory, well, Trumbull County experienced genuine extraterrestrial visitation. I mean, eyewitnesses, they clearly described objects defying known physics, silently hovering, changing directions abruptly, and moving impossibly fast. Classic hallmark, according to UFO researchers, of genuine alien aircraft. But if extraterrestrials visited Trumbull County, why here? Why then? What exactly were they seeking? Or perhaps observing? Well, I'm from the great state of Ohio. They should have visited me. Now, the second compelling fringe theory is advanced government experimental aircraft, which was secretly tested over civilian areas. For those of you that was around a few months ago, there was some very interesting drones that was hovering over New York City. Many thought that that could again be the case of a government experimental aircraft. What if back in 1994, this was one and the same? Now, some experts suggest that these sightings, they match classified stealth technology, silent propulsion systems, rapid maneuvers. They were brightly illuminated, designed specifically to test public reaction and radar evasion. But would the government truly risk any kind of exposure, openly testing secret technology above civilian neighborhoods? Could Trumbull County have been the unwitting test grounds for something extraordinary, yet entirely terrestrial? Now, some of you probably knew this was going to come up, and it's your own fault. It's because of your guys' comment sections and some of the places that I list some of the stuff. You guys have some interesting theories, but the third most probably extraordinary fringe theory, that the lights above was manifested due to an interdimensional or like a time slip phenomena. Now, experts in theoretical physics and the paranormal propose that certain areas, under very rare conditions, they might briefly overlap with another dimension, or even some would say moments in time, which create like a temporary portal or a phenomena that appears to be mysterious lights, or some would even say crafts. Could Trumbull County have experienced such a rare and extraordinary event, glimpsing briefly into another dimension, or perhaps even another time? Extraterrestrial visits, but they didn't visit me. Secret government tests, or extraordinary interdimensional phenomena, each one stretching the very boundaries of belief. Yet each one resonates clearly with elements of eyewitness reports, silent movement, vivid illumination, impossible maneuvers. Perhaps the truth about that night lies somewhere just beyond our grasp, somewhere on the very edge of possibility. And so we've examined everything: the tapes, the eyewitnesses, the officers' confusion and curiosity. We considered even rational explanation, and we even dared to explore theories that's on the very edge of possibility. But what really happened over the skies of Trumbull County on that December night back in 1994? After hearing all the evidence and weighing each one of the perspectives, the ultimate question, it remains yours to answer. I mean, was this a case of mistaken identity, a planet or a balloon that people just thought was possibly a UFO? Or could it have been a secretive government experiment that we all saw by mistake? Or was it perhaps a rare and remarkable visitation from somewhere far beyond our world? Whatever your conclusion, the truth, it remains elusive, hidden behind, just beyond our understanding, waiting patiently to be revealed. If you've enjoyed Retraced Echoes, and for tonight's extraordinary events, we invite you to share your own thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, what do you think happened in Trumbull County? And if you've experienced something unexplainable yourself, something that defies conventional explanation, well, I know I'd personally love to hear your story. Submit your experiences at our website, and perhaps your encounter could be part of a future episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to ring-a-ling that notification bell to stay updated. Because here, the mysteries of yesterday, they find the voice today. Until next time, remember, the echoes of the past, they never fade. They only wait to be retraced. Until next time, goodbye.